on another book about the insights I have gained from my life experiences with having autism and Miller, and what living with those differences has taught me about myself and other people. It is from these experiences that I am going to speak today and share some insights that I hope will influence how you interact with patients and others for the rest of your life. At times, I feel like I'm having a love affair with life. I am fascinated with all the beauty and expression life has to offer. I see the intimate details of life that tickle my soul and make me feel alive. Something as ordinary as watching water falling from the faucet brings me joy. And because joy is connected to love, I feel love. I live for these moments. This beauty comes from perspective. The more perspective I have, the more beauty I see. No amount of life's struggle can ever touch these moments or take them away from me. All I feel is love. Being in this state is how I see beyond the illusion of my challenges. I choose to look beyond the discordance in life to find what resonates with my vibrational being. This energy is who I am. I always know who I am. I know I am bigger than my challenges. This knowing helps lift me up when I am struggling. A patient is like a prism. Once you examine it, you will discover a spectrum of light representing the unique essence of that person. This light entwines many aspects. These include imbalances that make up a disease and any physical or mental limitations the person might have. These aspects also include the patient's habit, routine, lifestyle, and their interest and pursuit in living, their passion in life. As a doctor, you will not only be treating the body, you will be tending to the needs of a person who is experiencing the trials and struggles of the human condition. While you can see that I have Miller's and am not a typical prism, what you cannot see immediately is that I have the genetic lung disease, PCD, I am hearing impaired, and I have autism. The challenges of autism include identifying and using the context of a situation, understanding the context of what people are saying, staying on task, dealing with environmental stressors such as room lighting, noises, music, movements, and not getting overwhelmed and overstimulated. And here I am, a public speaker. Miller's prevents functional problems in my personal life as well as in my medical environment. I am not able to reach my neck, my upper chest at all, the back of my head, under my arm, my tailbone area, and parts of my back. I also can't reach my face or my ears with my left hand. Everywhere else requires extreme stretching and flexibility. For scratching an itch, push pencils are really useful, and I always keep them around. Hygiene maintenance takes a lot of extra effort and energy. Reaching the back of the cabinet or top shelf involves tools or other humans because my arms and fingers are not long enough and my range of motion is limited. You'd think being tall would be helpful, but this just means I have to bend down farther for everything. So I often squat or sit on the floor. I am very intimate with the ground. Reaching for food at the back of the fridge is not easy, and this requires that I take out the food in the front first, and sometimes I still need a tool for extension. This really limits the areas where I can store food. Also, I don't use the oven. The risk of falling in does not seem at all appealing. As you can see, name, address, pain level, and appearances do not tell the patient's whole story, nor does the list of symptoms tell you that I, my feelings, and my sense of self are more important than my condition. As a doctor, if you explore my film further, you will discover that I am interested in the abundant subjects of life. I like to know how they work and how they are interrelated to each other. In my study, I became interested in the things that affect our consciousness, our self-awareness, and the awareness of others. This led me to the field of biopsychology, in which I earned a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology from the U of U. My interests also include the study of autism and other medical conditions, pharmacology, nutrition, and technology. The easiest way for me to gain information and knowledge about my different subjects of interest is through reading books and researching on the internet. Luckily, I love to read and research, and I spend innumerable hours on my computer. If I didn't have a bladder, I probably would never get up. Now that I have addressed some of my challenges at home, I'll share some of the difficulties and obstacles I have encountered in the medical environment. Knowing what drives and motivates a patient offers the doctor and the patient the opportunity to work together as a team. This helps the doctor and patient to identify how the patient can participate in their own healing process. What most people take for granted in life becomes a challenging task for people with Miller. This is especially prominent when I'm in the hospital, where compensating is more difficult. For example, when I'm lying in a hospital bed, call buttons and side-mail buttons are just out of my reach. Reaching water cups, Kleenex boxes, food trays on those elevatable rolling tables just past the edge of the bed rails is all but impossible. As is tying and untying gowns, hygiene maintenance, and just about everything else when I'm incapacitated in the hospital. I worry the buzzing the nurses each time I can't reach something or need assistance stresses the staff and tries everyone's patience. As time goes on, and due to my autistic nature, I worry that the staff might not respond to my needs as quickly. I resort to the aid and nearly full-time presence of my family members or friends to be my arms, hands, and legs. In addition to this, I am further stressed by not being able to do my typical reading and online research. These are important aspects for me that link me daily to the outside world. A few years ago, I had gotten a sudden and unexpected lung infection, which landed me in the hospital. It turned into a collapsed lung and severe pneumonia. I had difficulty breathing, and because of my autism, I was constantly concerned with what was going on around me. As usual, I enlisted the aid of family and friends to be my hospital arms, hands, and legs, and support team. My obsessive concern, combined with regular vital readings, physical therapy, respiratory therapy, and so on, caused me not to get much sleep. Actually, I didn't sleep. I tried to eat, but I couldn't eat much. My weight dropped to just 98 pounds. It takes me months just to gain 1 pound. Yet day after day, second by second, I kept on living. Kept on taking the next breath. In spite of my many disabilities, I was not yet done living. I was a fighter, as is my nature. Even after the primary treatment and crisis with my lungs was over, I continued to fight for what I believed I needed. And this was to have those other people around to be my arms, hands, and legs while I was stuck in bed recuperating. Lack of sleep had taken its toll on me. This caused another sort of crisis. It decreased my pain tolerance and my ability to mentally cope with stimulation. My doctor saw the serious turn of events and knew that I needed to be alone and needed sleep. She realized how bad my obsessive concerns were and firmly ordered me to sleep often and to reduce constant social interaction with my family. They had to go. Being the fighter that I am, I was very resistant and concerned about surrendering my surrogate arms, hands, and legs to my family. After I finally understood what she saw, I conceded that I needed to surrender my fighter and relax. Once I was forced to sleep and have time without social stimulation, I did feel better emotionally and physically. Having my doctor look into my prism, understand what was driving me, and take needed action in spite of my desire was one of the best things that my doctor did for me. She focused on my emotional and my physical health. An example of a doctor who did not and never did think about my physical limitations is when I had to wear braces. After 5 years, my orthodontist decided it was time to correct my crossbite. He wanted me to use bands that needed to be taken on and off before and after each meal. He didn't take into consideration that I couldn't even reach inside my mouth. Yeah. And of course, no one could be around 6 times a day to do this for me. So my crossbite wasn't fixed, and now my teeth are crooked. As you can see, a doctor can have great influence in the lives of their patients, for good or for bad. To have the most effective involvement from the patient and create the most successful outcome, it is of utmost importance for doctors to consider all aspects of the patient's life, including their abilities, their disabilities, and their passion for living. Thank you.